All right, ladies and gentlemen. So the message of today is what are we telling ourselves? Right? That negative self-talk. Like what are we telling ourselves every day? What are we thinking? And really, this stems from a couple of conversations I had with people this week and just thinking about that negative self-talk, it is real. I don't know if you know this. I don't know what the true numbers are, but it's around like we think about like 50,000 plus thoughts a day. But out of that 50,000 plus thoughts, about like 70, maybe 80% of your thoughts are negative, right? So it's really to recognize and be aware of what are we thinking that really controls our actions and controls our identities, our values, our beliefs, and who we are as a person, as an individual, as a father, as a mother, as a business person, right? And one thing that was across the screen that I want to say again is they had across the screen, the mind is just like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets and the more it can expand. So if the mind's a muscle, right, which muscle are you really expanding? Are you expanding your negative self-talk, right? Because whatever you focus on expands, or are you expanding your positive self-talk that's growing and expanding? So the first thing, right, because I wrote a couple of things down, is that the first thing is become aware of your negative self-talk. Becoming aware of your negative thinking patterns and their impact on mood and behavior is the first step. And how you start doing that is the first thing is that you need to you need time to reflect, right? Take a time, take a time out to reflect on your thoughts and your inner voice. Stop and say to yourself, what's that thought? What is driving it and how I'm feeling? Like that's very, very important. And then the second thing is writing it down, right? Writing it down could really help you out. So whenever you have a thought, especially when it's negative, write it down and see what's going on around that negative emotional thought. And the reason why you write it down is because you want to start becoming aware of your patterns day in and day out. So I really challenge you to just have a book with you wherever you go, your notepad on your phone. Whenever you think of something negative, stop, write what that emotion is so you can get in tune with yourself, right? Then the second thing would be challenge your negative self-thought. As you get better recognizing your negative thinking patterns, you can begin to dive, dive deeper and develop new patterns of thinking, right? Because many times thoughts are connected to irrational beliefs. So I want you to catch yourself and challenge these thoughts using concrete, positive affirmations, right? Is a great place to start. And just no, just challenge your thought. Oh, I am ugly. No, challenge you. I am pretty. And really get detailed on why you're pretty, because I got a nice nose, I got nice hair, I got a nice smile. You need to challenge and combat those negative thoughts. And which brings me to my third point is practice the positive self-talk. Practice it. There are many ways to practice positive self-talk. So one way to practice this is focus on your blessings every day, right? Chris always talk about this, is that he wakes up with gratitude every morning and wakes up with positive thinking every morning, right? So that's shifting your attention from the negative to the positive. And that's why you start your day with gratitude. So you can start pouring in the positivity within within yourself, pushing out the negative every single day, right? Um, Talk it out. That's another thing. There are times when you need to lean on your support system to get out of your head and challenge the negativity. Talking to someone can sometimes help. Talk to, somebody who you trust, of course, somebody who's not going to break you down. Talk to one of us, talk to whoever invited you to this call, right? Whenever you get into that negative space, somebody you trust, because sometimes you just need to talk it out instead of hold it in. So this way, somebody else can reinforce that positive thinking, right? Because negative thoughts may feel so overwhelming that the best thing to do is to take a break and step away as well. You know how sometimes like we get super mad at work and we just need to step away, maybe scream or something like that. So sometimes we just need to step away from it because sometimes it's an environment and sometimes not. It's not ourselves, but that environment, that negative environment can pour into us as well. So sometimes you need to step away from a situation, right? Release that negative energy out and then come back and be more positive, right? You want to build this armor of positivity. So if anybody negative says anything to you, it's not pouring into you, right? And being mindful is also a tool that may not only combat negative thinking, but it provides a sense of relief, giving you the ability to stop and focus, right? So I want you to be focused on the presence, like, because sometimes our mind gets to wander and we have the power to bring it back to this moment and focus on the hope within the present. And different ways you can do this, like yoga, right? Yoga really anchors you to what's going on right now, right? Different type of like breathing techniques, meditations. So that's always good as well. If you're in a space to just deep breath in, right? Slowly, and deep breath out. So this way you can slow down your mind, slow down your body, release the tension. Like that's always good as well, because we don't want to be in the space of negative self-talk or negative thinking, because negative self-talk always limits our thinking, right? So we don't want to limit our thinking. The second thing negative self-talk does too is that sometimes we tend to think everything needs to be perfect, right? And great isn't as good as perfect, because sometimes we do something really, really good, but our negative self-talk tells me, hey, I can do even better. And we don't appreciate what's going on at that moment and how good that we do, right? And then one thing too that I want to avoid for all of us is that feeling of depression, right? So sometimes negative self-talk gives us that feeling of depression and it is left unchecked. And we know that could be very damaging for people. So sometimes if you see depressed people, if you're around them or know somebody, right, sometimes it's their negative self-talk that's left unchecked. And we definitely need to check that, and right, with everything I just told you. And then negative self-talk also gives people relationship challenges, right? Whether it's platonic, whether it's, your spouse, even your kids, your family, negative self-talk will push out people as well. And that's one thing that we definitely need to check, right? Because we're in a constant state of self-criticism, right? Which makes you sometimes feel needy or insecure, right? So we definitely, that's why we say some people are toxic, right? Because they got that negative self-talk and they think about themselves. So definitely, guys, mental health, right? We're still in May. So mental health awareness month was really surrounded about, and many things with the mind, right? And usually sometimes they say like anxiety is about the past, right? I mean, anxiety is about the future, depression is about the past, but sadness anchors us to the present, right? I don't know if you ever heard of that, but definitely I want everybody to start making aware of your negative thoughts, write them down, breathe exercise, take time, positive reinforcements. That's why we're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9:30. But even before you get on this and in between the days and the weekend, make sure you wake up with gratitude. All right. And with that being said, guys, I put the link in the chat. I put our podcast in the chat. You're welcome, Diane. If anybody's feeling anything negative thoughts or want to talk, right, get to the person who invited you today, because I know their mindset, they've been with us for a little while. So they definitely can reinforce anything. Don't be scared to speak to us in any matter. This is a safe place. That's what I want to leave you with, guys. This group right here and everybody who's in this room and everybody who's been with us for a while, we'll be back on Wednesday. We'll be back on Friday. And just know that this is a safe space and feel free to talk to us. Love you all. Have a good day.